It is public.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranam. All right. So we are ready for the satsang. It's live on YouTube as well. So if you want to pass on the link, you can pass on to your friends the YouTube link which is posted in the chat. Our master, Sri Dada Gavand, was born on 4th September 1917. So we would have been celebrating 106th birthday on 4th, but instead of Monday, we shifted it to Thursday satsang. So all our regular members can attend this satsang. We met Dadaji somewhere in 1991. We knew about him little bit. I had read a book by him, Intuitive Intelligence, about a year back. But we happened to meet him in January 1991, first major meeting that happened with the family. And ever since then, until he left his body on 29th January 2012, we had been in touch with him. And it was his blessings, it was his presence that really transformed the life. So today's entire satsang is learning about Dadaji as a person, Dadaji as a spiritual master, his methodology, his philosophy, and everything. And we also will have a question answer sessions at the end. So let us start this session with Guru Vandana. Over to Guru Ma.
Guruma, you are on mute.
Namaste everybody and heartiest welcome to you all. We all friends of Dadaji have come together to celebrate his birthday. The friends who admire and revere Dadaji from the bottom of the heart, we all have come to celebrate his 106th birthday today. So let us pray, let us seek the blessings of the Master as we start the session. That's a wonderful link. Prayer and Guru Vandana is a wonderful link with which instant connection with the Masters gets established. And always, whenever we are praying, the first and foremost thing is we have to connect to the breath. Only then it will be right from the level of prana. We will be surrendering to the Masters and seeking their blessings. So, lovingly observe the breath. So that as we lovingly observe natural breathing process, the prana starts getting awakened and starts getting more and more. So we start jumping into the pranic dimension. Lovingly observe the breath. And as Dadaji always said, the eyes are trying to search something outside, always want to run out. Ask them to come within. All the senses which are trying to run outwards to seek something all the time, gather them together and let them turn inward. Like the flock of the birds coming together and returning to the nest in the evening, let all the senses flock together and turn inward and return back to the nest within. In this state, with a calm mind, with a silent mind, let us get connected to the heart. Let us chant Om 3 times. Om is getting emerged from the very source. So let us chant Om from the source. Take a deep, relaxed breath. Let us pray with Guru Vandana by offering these flowers of prayers at the lotus feet of the Masters. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shri Sadgurave Namah. With the prayers, silencing the mind and getting into the love field of the Masters, we are entering into the Satsang. Dadaji never, uh, I won't say liked, but he never promoted any kind of prayers or any mechanical activity which is there. But in the heart of his heart, he always loved music. He always loved the prayers and everything he loved. But just because we do it mechanically, and we that becomes a routine, and then like the rut of the mind, when we start doing the prayers, he never advocated that. He always said whatever comes out, let that come out from the state of full awareness. If it is coming out from the state of full awareness and joy, then that will always be an act or a word which is carrying that energy of awareness, which is which it is touching and from where it is emerging. So these prayers with full awareness, with full love, we have offered at his feet. Now it's all over to Guruji to start the satsang.
Namaste and hearty welcome to all of you. Today, entire Satsang, we are going to learn about our spiritual master, Sri Dada Gavand, whom you see in the background. The man and his mission, his philosophy, his ways of working, what exactly did he do, how did he attain to that height, all that we are going to understand. It's a very, very inspirational journey. Every time you read few chapters of Dadaji's biography, Intuitive Intelligence, not Intelligence Beyond Thought, that is the title of the biography, Intelligence Beyond Thought, you get highly inspired. Intuitive Intelligence is a photographic book. That was the first book that I read. So around 26 January 1991, first time as a family we met Dadaji. Before that I had met him once or twice, but our serious meeting started from January 1991 with him. What I came to know that he was a good businessman born in Thane, where we stay right now. He studied up to matriculation. He was the captain of his cricket team in his school. He played cricket very well, highly interested in cricket, watching and all afterwards also. And because he was the eldest brother and his father expired, so all the responsibility of the business came on him. And up to 39 years of age, he remained unmarried, but he got his siblings married, completed his duties towards the family. And when that last marriage that was happening when he was about 39 years old, after completing that marriage, he simply, without telling anybody, he disappeared. And he went to Sajjangarh in Satara in Maharashtra. He found a small hut and started meditating there. Almost about 5 months or so he was there all alone meditating. He had taken only a small stove and some food grains and utensils so that he could survive, that's all. So he used to cook rice only once in a day and survive on that for 5 months. And the rainy season was very difficult in that hut because very heavy rains usually happen at Satara on the Sajjangarh. And somehow he managed to stay there. He didn't run away. Lots of fearful experiences happened in that hut, which I was lucky to join him. After 47 years, again with Dadaji, we went there and the hut was as it is. And the picture of that hut is there in his biography. So very interesting journey. He was meditating, but what exactly happened? So his methodology is aloof attention. Be watchful of your thoughts. So as you watch your thoughts, the number of thoughts will reduce. That is the most fundamental essence of meditation. But it's not about that. Most of the people meditate, become quiet for a while and again become active. And that's the reason the ultimate breakthrough does not happen in the human consciousness with that kind of meditation. So what was that special thing that Dadaji tried, that he attained to the truth, he attained to enlightenment, he attained to Buddhahood, whatever words you understand, but ultimate that is possible for human consciousness happened to him in 5 to 6 months time of his meditation, of his solitude. So how did it happen? That was my research area. I had already met many enlightened beings, talked to them. I was trying to find out the method, how does it happen? And he gave me a very, very elaborate answer. All my doubts disappeared, all my questions disappeared. He gave me the exact answer on, I have noted my biography journey also. On 6th January 1993, he gave me the exact answer during one of the meeting, which I had noted in my diary. And he also gifted us a book called towards the unknown. He said, "This is it. I cannot say anything more than this. If you have understood, there is no need for you to come to me. Be on your own, meditate." That was 6th January 1993. Okay. And whatever he said, I practice seriously, absolutely, with absolute honesty, integrity. I practice all that. And 13th July 1993, everything was understood the way he had understood it. He was unmarried, stayed in solitude, far away from the home. I was married, staying in the family. Daughter was born, attending to the office, but still creating the space, not attending to office full time. Okay, spending more time in meditation. Gurma was taking care of the factory and the child. Difficult job for her because too much of work, but because of her abilities, I got solitude, and whatever the ultimate that can happen on 13th July 1993, and that is called Guru Kripa. Whatever he suggested, he said that I can tell you how to walk the path, but you have to walk the path. That is Guru Kripa. Many people feel that Guru will walk the path for you. No Guru can walk the path for you. Guru can guide on the path. You have to walk the path. When you walk the path, the Kripa, the grace happens, and that's how you attain to the ultimate that is possible in the body. So such a great master, but he remained secluded, no advertisements, not big sangha. Many people try to form the sangha, but he said no organization, because the corruption of the mind happens with all that power and position and money and all that comes in. And he said, no, I want to stay as an individual, as an unknown person, and I don't want too much of crowd. I don't want to mingle with people. I'm okay the way I am. And because he had been a very rich man, he had seen all that thing. So he wanted to be more alone, solitude, and his methodology was meeting people one to one. I think he conducted very few camps in India and abroad, but by the time I had went there, I thought that such a great master. I once told him that I will organize the whole thing. You just come and talk to the people. He thought for a while and he said, no, you only organize and you only talk. I'm not interested. So he avoided the whole thing, and he was simply not interested in talking to big groups and all. And he remained like that. But his methodology was talking to people very intensely, one-on-one. So, if anybody will ask for his appointment and wanted to meet, he will avoid that person 3, 4 times, 5 times, just to see whether that person is serious or not. And if that person continues to follow up, then he will give the appointment. Sometimes even after the person comes, he wouldn't talk. He said, okay, come next time, just to check how serious that person is. And in that, I was there around him. I saw many people wouldn't come back because thought that this man is a difficult man. You can't communicate. So people will run away. And he was sure that he saved his time and troubles, because those guys were not serious. So anyway, they're not worth talking to them. But many people were very serious. They will repeatedly come, followed up, and they were immensely benefited, because once he started talking, he was talking with so much of intensity and all. And many people attend to the transformation in his presence. How do I know? Because I was present for few, but I know it's for sure, because while cleaning one of his cupboard, okay, at Thane, Yavur cottage, I found a big file. Hundreds of letters were there by the seekers who had attained to the truth, and those were the letters of appreciation, gratitude, pouring their heart out, thanking him that thank you for helping. Okay, this ultimate experience happened to me. And so many letters were there, because people from world over who had met him, many of them tried sincerely the way I tried it, and all of them had fantastic spiritual breakthrough. So he could contribute to hundreds of people genuine transformation, but he stayed unknown. He did not create the Sangha. All those people, they don't know each other. Okay, there is no database of who are those people and all, and nothing of that sort. But when he was talking to people intensely, one on one, during the meeting only, because his energy field was so very powerful, many people experienced transformation. And those who followed up with his methodology, they attend to the transformation on their own. So, what is it? That's what the whole satsang is about. What is it that creates the transformation? That is the most interesting part of Dada Gavand's methodology. So his key word is attention or aloof attention. That's the word that he uses. And as you practice aloof attention, as you create some space within you and you separate yourself with the thought mind so that you don't get carried away by your thoughts, and you create the space and you watch your thoughts, so the thoughts will start reducing. That's just the first step. That's not it. There's a lot more beyond for the transformation to happen. So during his 5 months of stay in solitude at Sajangarh, Satara, what he said that just by watching, witnessing mind, the quietude came, but that was not bringing about the breakthrough. What was missing was intensity, longer duration intensity. So with a single-minded, day in, day out, he was into that while walking, evening walk, morning walk, or whatever work little bit he had to do, all the time he was into that. And he has mentioned in his book, slowly, he started gaining that intensity. And awareness became intense, and he started experiencing the states of no thoughts for longer duration, occasionally in a day. That was the effect of increasing the intensity of aloof attention. So when intensity increases, automatically you stay in the gap between the two thoughts for longer duration. And that is the beginning of serious meditation. He started practicing his walking meditation evening time. He narrated where he used to walk. He actually showed us the path when we were together on the cliff side, on the border. Okay, he used to walk, and there was a deep valley, and you see a very panoramic view from there. So sometimes he'll walk, somewhere he'll sit down on the stone, meditate, and in the whole process, he started gaining that momentum of the awareness. That is the way he has used that word. He says normally we have the momentum of the mind, but momentum of the mind has to be cut down and the momentum of awareness has to be there. And he explained this process in a very simple language for a common man. If you are pedaling the bicycle, you go on pedaling, the bicycle will have great momentum. After some time, you don't need to pedal. Even if you are not pedaling, because of the momentum, the bicycle goes on with the speed. Same thing happens with the mind. Because we have pedaled our mind by thinking too much, the mind goes on even if you don't want to think. That's why most of the people are not able to enter into meditation because we have too much of momentum of the mind. So first thing for a common man is to cut down the momentum of the mind by creating the time and space for yourself, sit quietly, do nothing. Slowly, the mind has to settle. That is the first step. Then start watching your mind with aloof attention, and the number of thoughts will reduce. Only in the third step that you need to increase the intensity and find the gap between the two thoughts and stay into that gap more and more, so that there is no momentum of the mind. That is the time where the awareness gains its momentum, and that is the most wonderful process. When it happens within you, you'll understand how beautiful that process is. Awareness continues to flower, and thought does not come. Thought cannot come in that state. So scientists say that if anybody stays into that state for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, godly experience, experience of truth, experience of explosion of silence, experience of Buddhahood, experience of enlightenment happen. These are the different ways it has been expressed. So my dear friends, the biggest secret of how does the enlightenment happen, he has cut down into small steps and explained it so nicely in his books. Any person who is little bit honest, sincere about spirituality can understand the entire process, and if one tries, he says guaranteedly anybody will attend to this, because this is a process. Whosoever has tried has attained, and hundreds of them. Okay, I saw the entire file of those people who had attained by using this methodology. So such a wonderful thing happened. After that, he came down, met his mother, because mother was very much worried. He had not talked to anybody and went away. So he met his mother, and after that he went to Chennai, Madras that time, to meet Krishnamurti, because that time Krishnamurti was talking in Chennai, and he met Krishnamurti and talked to him, and there was a great meeting. Krishnamurti guided him further what to do, what not to do, because he was not taking care of the body, and Krishnaji guided him that take care of the body, eat well, because he was surviving on a little bit of rice that he cooked once in a day. After that, he started taking care, and 14 more years in the same area, okay, somewhere at in a cave, sometimes in the nearby areas, and most of the time in his cottage in Mahabaleshwar, where he stayed. Almost 14 years he spent there, until he said that the whole existence conspired and put him into USA. So 1975, a lot of people, they came together. He said it's just a happening. He had no idea, no desire to do anything then, but it was happening. So somebody gave him the ticket. Somebody gave him the dollar. It was U.G. Krishnamurti. It is written in his biography. U.G. Krishnamurti had come back from USA that time, and he had $600. We are talking of 1975. So UG gave him $600, and that was the only money that he had in his pocket, and somebody gave him the ticket of a ship which took more than a month to reach to USA. And there was this guy, Ken Reed. Ken Reed was a spiritual book shop owner in USA who received him. No telephones, no mobile phone, no email, internet, nothing at that time. And Ken Reed somehow messed up the date. He did not come to receive him. So he stayed in Hare Rama, Hare Krishna ashram, where you get good, nice, free food, vegetarian food for a few days. So he somehow managed to stay there, and then Ken Reed came, he met, and his journey in USA started in 1975. So his style remained the same. He met a lot of psychologists, businessmen, industrialists, meditators, and all those who were interested. And all those things were compiled in the book form. These are the interviews that he gave to the people beyond the mind. This is how he looked at that time. In 1975, okay, this is how he looked with all his black hairs. And when I met him, he looked like this with all the white hairs. So all his interviews are compiled in the book Beyond the Mind. So anybody who is interested, the book is available. Very highly intense interviews, personal, one-to-one talk. And you see, just by reading the interview, you can understand how the transformation is happening just by listening to him. extraordinary presence of the master. Let me tell you, once I took my hotelier friend, Mr. Shetty, with me. We had spent some time at our home, and by the time I reached there, I had stomach upset. I was not feeling well, little bit feverish and all. So, but anyway, my friend was very keen on meeting him, so I took him there. I said, okay, you talk to him. I'll be sitting silently because I'm not feeling well. So I was just sitting there for 10 minutes. Just the effect of his presence. In 10 minutes time, I could see that I was healed by his presence. He didn't do anything. And I asked him, what magic did you do? He said, I didn't do anything. But his presence was so much of healing. Just by sitting by side of him, maybe at 1 or 2 meter distance, with the eyes closed, in 10 minutes time, the healing happened. And after that, I was feeling so high. We spent almost a couple of hours there before we came down. And my friend also was very, very happy because he also felt extremely high after meeting him. So what is that high? Why do we feel high after meeting the masters? Now that with all the scientific research, we understand that masters are vibrating at very high frequency. When we go to the master, their vibrations rub onto us. So we also vibrate high, and that's why that high feeling comes. So just rubbing of the vibrations that is there. But let me tell you, those are the borrowed vibrations. So the effect remains for a while, and after some time it will disappear. So many times I went there, I tell him that, every time I come and meet you, I feel so high. I'm enjoying that feeling of high vibrations. But every time I go down the hill, and by the time I am at our home, more or less that effect is gone. Sometimes even the depression used to come next day because I was in such a high, and when you fall from that high, you go down into depression. And then again gear up and go to him and come back to the high. So once I asked him, Dadaji, this is happening many times, that I feel very high when I'm there with you, but I go down the hill and then all that is gone. How do I maintain that? Because that's a very interesting thing. If I can maintain that by being in the world, by doing my work, that will be the best thing. He says, you can do that. And I sat down, holding his feet. I said, today I will not let you go. I want to know, how do I manage to hold on to that high vibration even when I go down and do my normal work? Otherwise, I meet people and all, and that is lost. I'm lost in the whole process. So how do I manage that? And he gave me very fantastic tips. Very compassionate master. I'm reliving the whole thing. All right, I'm seeing all of you. Do you want to know what is told me to maintain that? Do you want to know? Are you sure, keen about that? Okay, I see lots of thumbs up. All right. So what is said is, when you are doing your normal work, being with the people, keep your aloof attention intact. Don't get carried away by other people's presence. You remain in your own presence. Now that was a little bit strange for me to understand. I'm in my presence all the time. I'm in presence of other people. So I didn't get the connection. What does it mean? But what he meant was, you remain inward. So I asked him, how do I do that? He says, every half an hour, 1 hour, become aware. Come back to yourself. Fall back upon yourself. He used the Hindi word. During the day, कुछ पल में आप स्तब्ध हो जाओ. स्तब्ध हो जाओ. That is the word that he used. Come back to yourself. Collect yourself. Be there. And then again do your work. So this process you have to do few times so that you are not lost. So when you are lost, your mind is lost, your presence is lost, and you are lost, and the state is lost. It's all the same thing. So you have to come back to yourself, collect yourself, have that awareness even while being with people, And in that process, you stay into that high all the time. So even while doing your normal work, your normal traveling, being with people, attending to your office, or being with your family members, it will not take you away from your own original state. And that, he says, is a big challenge for a modern man who is a householder. And if you can do that, that is the real test of your enlightenment. And that is what he was talking about, that anybody and everybody can do that, but you have to practice it more and more, and you have to develop that kind of an attitude. So most fundamental thing that happened by being with Dadaji is lots of attitudinal corrections happen. And that is what these days I'm also talking to all the spiritual seekers. Today morning also, when I talked about Akashic records. See, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Many people are interested in spirituality, but they are not understanding that you need to do lots of attitudinal correction on the path. And that is where people are failing, and that's the reason they are not getting the results they are expecting. So my dear friend, the missing link is on the path of spirituality, you need to do lots of attitudinal corrections. Otherwise, you will not be able to learn. Another very big insight he gave me is he says, anything that you want, you have to pay the price. That was his very powerful statement. You see, I was a businessman that time. So I asked him, but Dadaji, you are always talking that everything should be free in spirituality and you don't take money. And here you are telling that you have to pay the price. He said, no, you have misunderstood. Pay the price means if you want to vibrate higher, then you would be ready to leave something else that is pulling you down. That is the price you have to pay. So paying the price is an attitudinal correction. Okay. You have to pay the price means you have to work for that. Nothing comes free. So those who are not willing to work, those who are not willing to do attitudinal corrections, okay, for whom enlightenment is not a priority, they don't walk that path fast. You see, when I understood him, okay, 6th January 1993, consciously I made it a choice that for me spiritual evolution is the priority, not the secondary instrument, not the secondary thing. It was a priority. Within 6 months time, the best of the best things started happening. See, today I find the attitude of the people, and I'm not criticizing anybody, it's a normal thing. Oh, young man, why are you interested in spirituality? You know, spirituality comes after your retirement. This is what the normal common man will talk. When you have nothing else to do, so you get interested into spirituality. Which means it's not your priority, it's a time pass for most of the people. And that doesn't give you result. Any time pass activity will not give you the results. It has to be your priority, not just priority, very high intensity priority. Even if you die, you must be willing to pay that price of your life. Then probably you will get it. But you see, that intensity does not come. One of my friend asked me, will Dadaji come to our home? I said, he does travel, he does visit people's home, but why are you asking me? No, I want to meet him, but I'm not finding time to reach Yevur because it takes half an hour. If he comes to my home, I'll be nice, I will talk to him. Now, if that is the attitude of the people, do you think such people will get anything? See, very low level of attitudes. People are thinking, aspiring for something extremely high, but they are actually living life of a very low category. Their attitudes are extremely bad, and that is the reason they don't get into that high vibration. Okay, what in a later days I started calling it as a poverty consciousness. Poverty consciousness does not mean that you don't have the money. Poverty consciousness means using the language, I don't have time for meditation. I don't have good health for meditation. I don't have sufficient money for meditation. This attitude is called poverty consciousness. And many extremely rich people also have this poverty consciousness. And I have seen people absolutely poor, they are having the prosperity consciousness, they have the time for everything, they enjoy everything, and they are the wonderful people. Many spiritual masters I have met in Himalayas, no bank balance, no bank account, okay, no Aadhaar card, unknown people. They have no voter's ID. Nobody knows about them from where they came, what they have renounced all identities also. Okay, they have no credit card, debit card, nothing because they don't have money. But they are in their prosperity consciousness, they are enjoying. They don't know from where the next meal is coming. But they are the most wonderful people. So it's an attitude towards the life, it's the attitude towards the enlightenment that really makes sense if you really want to progress on the path. I learned this attitude of making spiritual evolution as a priority from Dadaji. And when it happened, then the breakthrough started coming very fast. I think this was one of the biggest lesson. And then you have to pay the price. Okay. And the most interesting statement, which I have posted on the visual also, keep your pointer towards the north. That was his usual advice. Keep your pointer towards the north. So normally, you see the north direction in the compass, but what he meant by keep your pointer toward the north means keep walking the path. His statement was, eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. So this vigilance has to be there all the time. And that is the price you need to pay for that ultimate freedom from the mind. So keep your pointer toward the north, keep your watchful attention, pay the price, and that's how you will attend to that. All right, so that was about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, now if you have any question, open to question answer. Put your questions. Okay, Ram is asking, how can we order beyond the mind? I have few copies, Ram, but it's not available. Only few copies are left. So I'm having some 4 or 5 copies. Contact me on WhatsApp. I'll guide you. Okay, I can courier it to you. Darpinder says, same here. I feel I'm going in depression now. As I was doing continuous meditation from last 1 year and now quite from last few months, energy is low. Yes, Darpinder, it can happen, and that is the problem. Okay, these days many doctors and all are advising not to meditate because lots of people are getting into negativity, depression and all. So that what we don't understand is our method of meditation is wrong. See why people are feeling depressed while meditating or feeling lonely while meditating, because the method of meditation is wrong. So normally, Darpinder, the solution to this is you should do pranayam, kriya and raise your vibrations first. With a high vibrancy positivity when you enter the meditation, that meditation will lead you higher. So otherwise you will end up into trouble. All our Om-Prem Sangha members, I always tell them, never enter meditation without doing kriya, because that is where you will end up in trouble. You get into the negativity because the whole world around you giving you negative inputs. Okay, so you get caught into that negativity. And then you are empowering the negativity by meditating on it. So you get into depression. And that's the negative side of meditation. But that's a wrong style of meditation. Meditation is not creating depression. Your not understanding the right methodology is creating depression. Always vibrate high, eat normal, little food that your body needs, no overeating. Do Kriya meditation, vibrate high, and then sit for meditation. No depression will come. In fact, you will get the breakthrough. Renuma book is not available online. Okay, if you have any question on the philosophy or what we discussed, you can punch it in the chat box. I'll answer your questions. But lots of things are there. So in 1975, when he visited USA and talked to many people, all those interviews were one-to-one, and those things got compiled that became Beyond the Mind book, the first book. After 3 years, he was invited again by the group of friends in USA. That time he gave few small group talks. And he went to few resorts and retreats and different places where his friends were there. And those things got compiled. And he had become very poetic at that time. And those things were compiled in the format of the book. And that book is titled as Towards the Unknown. It was that book that created a breakthrough for me. Just while reading that book, somehow that state came, high vibrancy, and that boom, explosion of silence happens. Okay, so that words of Dadaji are so very powerful. If you tune yourself and you just reading Dadaji's book itself can throw you into meditation. Very powerful words. Okay, Archana Parav is saying, Guruji, I have a habit of always saying that I have to manage expenses, how much my husband gives me, and that gives me frustration and depression. So does this also poverty consciousness? Yes, definitely. You see, sitting for meditation at your home actually doesn't cost money. There are many things available. Doing Kriya doesn't cost you an paisa. Okay. So it is the attitude of poverty consciousness that is bothering most of the people. I told you many masters I have met in Himalayas, and they have no money, nothing, but they are living very joyously. So of course, Archana, it is a matter of attitude. You are caught into the poverty consciousness, and that's the reason you are not progressing further. Change your attitude. See, if you give smile, does it cost? If you give hug to someone, you go a little out of the way, help somebody to cross the road. I think it's just a matter of attitude. You feel so rich if you have all these things. It doesn't cost you money, but it's an attitude. Pratyush Tomar is asking, Guruji, in Intelligence Beyond Mind, it's Intelligence Beyond Thought, that is the title. Dadaji's journey of 5 months is deeply mentioned. But journey after 5 months, which he did in seclusion for 14 years, is very little mentioned. Can you share something about that part? Yes, Pratyush. This particular question I always had in mind, that whatever had to happen, it happened. In those 5-6 months. He got enlightened, came back, met mother, met Jiddu Krishnamurti. Thing was over. Why did he go back and meditated there for 14 years? That was a big question, and I asked once. So I always ask him, said, this is troubling me, that whatever had to be attained, you had attained that. Why did you meditate 14 long years afterward? If you would have meditated for 14 years and attain after that, that's a normal thing. But after attaining to that, he meditated 14 more years. Why? So he explained that he was a non-veg eater. Okay. His family was a non-veg eater. I know many of his family members also. And he had the hobbies of hunting. So he had his gun, and once he killed a rabbit also in the forest, and he used to go for hunting. He said, I had very bad karma, and because of that, my body was dirty. My mind was dirty because of all that bad karma. He said, so 14 years I was cleaning my karma, cleaning my body, subtle bodies, because all that, hobbies that he had and eating non-veg and all, so that had spoiled his energy field, and to clean that, he had to meditate for And what he said that a lot of corrections were happening inside his brain. And DNA level corrections happens when you go deeper into the meditation, that is after enlightenment. And DNA level corrections start happening, even your look, facial looks, eyes, everything changes in a big way. And he showed me many pictures. See, this is how I looked like when I went. And then after this, you can see this clear-cut differences and how the DNA level changes body patterns, changes body literally. His face cut, his outlook, everything has changed. So to bring about the DNA level changes, you need to meditate for a really longer duration. In this body also, the experience happened that after the explosion, 5 more years I'd been meditating and everything changed. My outlook, if you see my old picture and new picture, big difference there. So DNA level changes, corrections started happening. So many things change. So my dear friends, after enlightenment also, you still need to work a lot. So Pratyush, Dadaji was doing that work for 14 years. Ram is asking, Dadaji never really had any guru. That is true. You know, that was the kind of a tradition which I also belong to. Krishnamurti said that you walk the path alone. Dadaji was highly inspired by Krishnamurti. So he also used to talk no physical guru, nothing, no glorifications and all. Which I think that was the time and that was the style, that was the kind of a lineage or tradition which was not considered as a tradition. But that's what it is. Okay. So in a way, yes, Krishnamurti never said that he was a guru, but he guided. I was myself guided by Krishnamurti. Dadaji was guided by Krishnamurti. Vimlatai Thakar was guided by Krishnamurti and thousands others. So he was a great guru, but he never accepted Guru Pad because he was like walking alone. He did not like the word guru also, but no doubt he was the great guru. So in that sense, yes, no guru, but still there was a guru. Was he vigilant even during night? Was 1 meal sufficient? Yeah, he managed with 1 meal, and that's why his body really deteriorated. And that was the suggestion given by Jiddu Krishnamurti to take care of the body, because you still need the body to survive, and body has to be good. You need to eat well. Yeah, his awareness deepened, and he could witness during the sleep state also. Very nice thing. How many hours do you suggest we do aloof attention in a day? 24 hours, that's all. You don't need to do much. And that's what brings about the breakthrough. That is the meaning of keeping the pointer toward the north. Okay? Practice it only for 24 hours, nothing more, nothing less. Okay, Renu Gupta said, did he explain the methodology of meditation? That's exactly what I explained, Renuma. He did explain, create the space, watch your thoughts, but that's not enough. Create the intensity. So momentum of the mind has to go, momentum of the awareness has to set in, and that awareness, that momentum of the awareness is what brings about the breakthrough. That is the methodology of meditation. That's what we were talking all along. Guruji, approximately how much time you give to meditation on a daily basis? Only 24 hours, nothing more, nothing less. You have to be into that state all the time. Otherwise, what's the point? You are a part-time meditator. It's a full-time business. Otherwise, the moment you are not into that, you are out, which means in and out will happen. Sometime here, sometime there. That's why, वो सेंटेंस याद है ना, आधे घंटे 1 घंटे में एक बार स्तब्ध हो जाओ, भीतर आ जाओ, collect yourself, get to your center. Managing to be at your center, you do your normal work. So you are not lost from your center. That is the secret to maintain that state all the time. And that's the most wonderful thing. That is the blessings of the masters. So 24 hours one has to be into that. That is the way to sustain, to be into that all the time. Okay, Renuma. Pratyush is asking, Guruji, Dadaji met Meher Baba and his answer to Meher Baba are very much inspiring. Some light on the incident. Yes, Meher Baba was having his camp around the same place that time, Nagar, saint of Nagar, Meher Baba. Very popular even those days, now also very popular. And he had some very miraculous powers. See how he located Dadaji. He was not talking, okay? It's a sign language, he said. There's some boy there meditating, bring him here. Which means with his divine powers, Meher Baba located Dadaji and sent somebody, and that is how Dadaji met him. So first he offered him to stay properly and offered him the full meal, And Dadaji described that after so many days, he was really enjoying the good food because he was surviving on a little bit of rice. Once he used to cook in a day. And then Meher Baba asked him to join his Sangha. And that he has mentioned that was a decisive moment. Because Meher Baba located him, he was a spiritual man. Meher Baba wanted him to join and be there in his Sangha. But he was inspired by Krishnamurti, be alone. And he said, very respectfully, thank you for your offer, but I walk alone. And very respectfully, he came out, never went there again. Now, that is the power of truth. You are all alone, independent, and nothing bothers you. You are not looking for the crutches, you are not looking for the support system, nothing. He was a rich man, businessman, a good family. He had everything. He had known all that. But after leaving, he was not in a mood to get into that again. And lifetime, he never got into that. Lifetime. Because you understand there's a negative effect of those things at times. And then you want to be into that purity. So he preferred to stay into that purity. Okay, that doesn't mean that he didn't do business or didn't earn money. I asked him this question. See, Dadaji, whatever you may say, this is all philosophy. I get hungry 3 times a day. I need 4 cups of tea, and nobody gives you free of cost. Even my mother tells me, now that you have completed your education, you do the job, do the business. Otherwise, you don't get the food. So nobody gives you just like that, and there is a survival cost, right? As long as you are in the body, you still need to manage your food, your clothing, your shelter. It costs. So Dadaji says, see, that's a small thing. How much do I need? He says, see, these books, my books, I'm selling 100 rupees, 200 rupees, and that much is enough. And somebody gets me the food. Whosoever brings the food is God, because God gives the food. Okay. And he said somebody pays the rent for this cottage. Somebody painted this cottage. So God takes care. Okay. If you are helpful to the people, people around take care of you, and life goes on. One should not be afraid of it. So I asked him, Dadaji, people take care of you, but if I come down right now, I don't think anybody will take care of me, so I still need to do my business and survive on my own. He said, no. If you have the faith in God, you will also be taken care. Now, when I look back and all, I traveled worldwide. Okay, no money, no credit card, nothing. People come pick me up from the airport. I travel with them, enjoy best of the best things, and come back home. God takes care, really. But the secret I learned, and I want to share that secret. If you are helpful to people, if your presence is helpful to the people, God takes care. So what does it mean? See, wherever I go, any family I meet, people I meet, I talk to them, and my expertise is in solving the problems. So wherever I'm sitting, people ask me the question, I solve people's problems. And people get so much interested because my presence is helping them to solve the most critical problems, the most confusing problems, the most annoying situations are there, and my presence is helping them. So they say, next time you come, you must stay with me. My brother wants to meet you, and that's how the sangha grows. Anybody who is vibrating at a high level, such a person's presence itself is auspicious. I'll tell you one very embarrassing situation for me. I'm a normal common man, householder. Have my wife, you call her Guruma. We have our daughter who is now married. Normal householder, nothing special about it. So somebody saw my videos and got inspired, and Gujarati gentleman, he came to me and I said, Guruji, તમે પગલા કરવા માટે અમારા ઘરે આવો. You know, this is a typical expression people use in Gujarati, that you come, so your footfall in our home will make it more divine. I started thinking, my God, how my footfall will help this man. But you see, that man was so inspired seeing my videos, he somehow wanted. He said, in traffic, I don't drive. And no, I got a car. Very respectfully took me in the car, took it to his home, showed his entire home. The whole idea was that my foot should fall in all his rooms, including balcony. He took me, okay, bedroom, everywhere, and gave me nice food. We had a satsang also. He invited few friends and all, and sent the car back to drop me. First time I started understanding Dada Gavand's statement that if you are helpful to people, God takes care. So if you vibrate high and if you solve people's problems, if your presence is helpful, see where we have our Tao center, opposite side, there are small shops. So there's one gentleman, very senior gentleman is there. He always invites me, Guruji, come, let's have a cup of tea. I said, I'm here only, I had my cup of tea. No, you come to my shop, have a cup of tea. I said, why do you invite me to your shop and give me tea? He says, my record shows every time you come and sit with me for a few minutes in my shop, my galla increases. Galla means my day's collection increases. So I know he's inviting me to have a cup of tea just to increase his day's collection. I said, there's nothing like that. He said, no, you may not like, but my data shows every time you come and sit in my shop, my collection increases, my business increases. And there are many such people. The idea is, let's understand the phenomena. And there is some truth in that gentleman's data also. I'm also a scientist, so we collect the data, and data doesn't lie. What is the secret? The secret is anybody who is vibrating high is always into prosperity consciousness. Person who carries that high vibratory prosperity consciousness comes and sits in a home of somebody, and suddenly the problems of those people disappear. Vastu corrections happens with the energy. This is for sure. In the shop, the customer starts coming, the business starts improving, life starts improving, everything starts moving just by the presence of the person. And this is for sure true, and this is very scientific also. Because the vibrations rub onto us. That gentleman is not a very spiritual man. He's a typical businessman, small old-style businessman having a small shop. But he says, every time I meet you, my day goes very well. I'm feeling very good. I'm hopeful that I will live a little more longer. I keep meeting you. His life force energy increases. He's more positive and he does more business. He's happy. So men like Dadaji's presence on the planet Earth, that presence itself is so very auspicious. These are the extraordinary things. Okay. Ram is asking, are the places where Dada did sadhana still intact and can be visited? Oh yes, Ram, all that, the hut is still there, and now there is a small ashram also nearby. He was alone at all these places. Yes, he was alone, and those places are there. You can go and visit. What was his sadhana in Mahabaleshwar? Same thing, watching with alupa attention and cleaning the brain cells and body and cleaning the higher bodies, subtle bodies. That was the sadhana. That was the question that I asked. He said he was cleaning his subtle bodies. Lots of past life cleaning also needs to be done, and that takes time. And that brought about the DNA level changes into his body. His face cut changed, his looks changed, his eyes changed, everything has changed. And I've seen the different photographs that he has showed me, and that's the right thing. That does happen. Okay, so when you go deeper into meditation, beyond enlightenment, DNA level changes starts coming to you, and that's a wonderful thing. That's the total transformation of the body, mind, energy happening, and that's how the living liberation, Jivan Mukti, becomes possible. So Beyond the Mind book got translated into Hindi. It's called Mukt Jivan Ki Aur. People who read Hindi books, Mukt Jivan Ki Aur, very nice Hindi, amazing things. It's translated in Marathi also. All the books, many translations are happening. All right, so no more questions. Did I answer the last question? Yes. All right, so over to Guruma. She would like to share few things, and then we'll have Shantipat.
There is a question about, are those places still intact where Dadaji went and stayed after his enlightenment experiences? The whole group had gone. There is a cave in a village called Bilar, which is nearer to Mahabaleshwar. When you go to that cave, you can see how vulnerable you will be when you go to that place. And when he had gone there, it was just the onset of the monsoon season. So during monsoons, all the wild animals, they used to come, and they used to take shelter in those remote caves. So somebody told him that this is not fair, that you are staying here, and the wild beasts, they move around here, and at any time the beast can come and you will be at a risk. So we don't want you to be there. And that's how he was offered the cottage at Mahabaleshwar by the owner of the Dreamland Hotel, and he went there. So all the time he said that why he preferred these remote places, or why he stayed alone, was to face the fear. The fear is the last thing which keeps you bound and keeps you into the limitations. So how to remove the fear is only when you stay in such places and face the fear squarely, and all the deep rooted psychic impressions which has gone deep in your subconscious, when they start coming up, at that time, if you are in solitude, it the the whole process of energy awakening takes you into different postures in order to remove all those psychic impressions which are at cellular level in different places they are stored. So the body goes naturally into those postures. Here we think that if I do asana, I'll get into meditation. There he says, let the energy awakening happen, and that energy takes care and puts you into that posture, so that in that posture, whichever patterns were stored deep within you, those patterns can get released. And that's how the deeper level healing happens. So all that deeper level healing of removing all the past life psychic impressions, samskaras, all that was going on in these 14 years, and the energy settling into that area, that happens in that phase. And Dadaji always said this, you'll renounce everything and you'll go to the ashram. And what will you go after going there? You will make ashram your home. Again, there you will have that, oh, this person is better than me, that person is asking me to do the things I will not do. So he said, what are you doing? You're leaving home because you want to meditate, you want to look at your mind, but going there, the mind also comes with you, and the same mind, the same patterns, the same behavior, all that will continue. So there's no point in doing that. When I asked him, Dadaji, can I go for Vipassana? So he gave a smile and he said that I won't say yes or no. You go and see and then come back and talk to me. So when I went there, after coming back, he asked me, what happened? So I said, Dadaji, I realized that when I went there for the first time, I was giving 24 hours to myself, because all other times probably I was busy with something else at home. But in those 24 hours, I was just sitting with myself. But then I realized, so he said, what happened? Could you get the breakthrough? So I said, for first 2 days, yes, that looking at me gave me some idea of how I can create a distance and look at me. Because all other times you are too much involved in all your day-to-day activities. Here, all that has at least stopped. So the mundane activity in which the mind keeps you busy. He always used to say, this is the business of the mind to, so busyness of the mind to keep you busy all the time. So we don't have to remain into that business. So when I told him that after coming back, I said, but at one point, the group around you, you're sitting and then some person is snoring because not able to meditate. So that snoring starts your attraction and starts attracting you. So all these things then start happening. So he said, wonderfully, you have experienced the whole thing that you need to experience, because yes, initially it may help, but later on only as a inner solitude, as you sit alone and look at yourself, that helps. Initially, to create that state and know what the witness is, all these things may help you. But when the witness has to be strengthened, you have to be sitting quietly and see all these patterns. That after going to ashram also, how will you make that as your home and start shouting at the people who may be monk colleagues there? So he said, this is not the way. Life wants you to see everything in that light of awareness, so that there is a thrust of the thought. The thought will arise, it will give rise to emotion. That emotion will grip you and will compel you to act. That's the process which happens. What we are able to see is our actions. That too, when the actions are completed, we are able to see, oh, I got angry and I had decided not to get angry. So already I have expressed that anger, and then I realized. So he said, where you need to go is go and trace back the whole trajectory. That the anger came, it got expressed. From where did that anger came? There was a compulsion of that action. What was the compulsion? The emotion which was behind it. From where did that emotion came? It came from the repeated thought pattern which was creating that kind of behavior in me. So he said, this entire thing you have to watch, and slowly going to the root of the pattern, you have to remove those patterns. That's the only way the real sadhana can happen. No other way the real sadhana can happen. So you have to go to the root, and from there the thought, the onset of the thought, you have to be connected to and see the whole trajectory, how that thought is compelling you, gathering the emotions, those emotions gathering the moment, compelling you to perform that particular action, and you have no other control, because you have fallen prey to the thrust of the mind. So what Guruji talked about, paddling of the cycle, is we have paddled these thought patterns every now and then unconsciously. Now is the time when we have to become aware, and in that aware state, when we start seeing, oh, this thought has arisen, and the moment we see that in the intensity of the intense light of the awareness, that thought loses its grip on us. If we can sustain that awareness for a little more time, the grip of the thought reduces and the thought dies on its own. But we don't give that space. We don't give that pause which is necessary to look at that thought, and that thought too, as it has arisen, it dies. But as it has arisen, we give our energy, feed it, and make it stronger. And that's how it becomes the master and we become the slave to it. So we have to go in silence to the root of the pattern, watch all these patterns, and from the root, this mind has the habit of keeping all these actions and these things in different pockets. So I may feel that I have a fear of a cockroach. I may feel that I have a fear of the unknown, I have a fear of the darkness. But he said there is a collective fear within you, and mind's cleverness that it will make different pockets, so that even if one pocket is gone, in other thing its existence is still preserved in the form of that fear, and it can again come back and take a vengeance on you and will be gripping you again. So that is why all these pockets where all these past experiences, the memories of the past experiences are stored, those pockets have to open up, and the energy which is trapped in those pockets, that energy has to get released. Only when this energy from different pockets gets released and integrates, that's the state of yoga, and that energy will have its own upward thrust. Otherwise it always pushes you down and compels you to act. But when this upward energy of which has the awareness behind it, it gains the momentum, that thrust will push you upwards, and more awareness will be there. The thought will become weaker and weaker, the mind will become weaker and weaker, and you can spend more time in that thoughtless state, and that awareness becomes the master after that. So during those 14 years, the process is this, that all those small pockets which are there, they all have to be found out and they all have to burst open. Only in that case will there be a complete freedom, as we call it, liberation. There will be an experience of enlightenment. But how can the person be liberated? One has to still keep that vigilance all the time. Eternal vigilance is the price you pay for that ultimate freedom. So all the time, if you want to be free of that thought, you have to be vigilant in every moment. Has the thought arisen? Is it trying to grip me? Is it trying to compel me to act? Come back, connect to the awareness, connect to the state of awareness, and gather back that energy and allow it to move up. Don't allow it to go down and compel you into that compulsive karmic pattern. Beautifully, he used to explain all these things, and in his presence, these things were natural to understand. If we lovingly connected him, on the outer side he would show that, very intense and sharp master, very angry, but in the core of his heart he was very loving. So only those who will come with the questions or logical mind, he'll be harsh onto them, and those who went lovingly and sincerely practice, he would be lovingly guiding them. So wonderful compassionate master from 1991 to 2012. So how many years? 10, 20, 21 years. Life gave this opportunity to serve him, and in all these 21 years, his approach was every time, every day, something new you should take up. New in the sense which you don't know. So once he said that there is a project that the poems are there and we have to put those poems musically. So do this now. I said, I don't know about music. I don't know the musical studio. I don't know. He said, I don't know. It's not the right answer. Because every time you do something new, you don't know that. That's the first time you're doing. So how will you know it? But then how will you learn also? So all the time he made it a point that whenever you're doing something, every time do something new. And why new? Because when you are trying to do the new, you are stepping into the arena of unknown, and enlightenment is all about bringing the unknown into the known, bringing the unknown into the known. And when the whole thing is known, that is the process of enlightenment. Nothing remains dark, everything comes into that light of awareness. That is the process of enlightenment. So he said that always remain onto the frontier of mind, where mind always wants you to be into the known. It wants to put you from known to known to known to known, so that you don't step out and the enlightenment doesn't happen, the ego can survive. So if you keep yourself into that unknown, then you train yourself to be in that zone where that unknown cannot create any fear, cannot send you back into the mind when the right moment comes. So be friendly with that unknown, be friendly with that which is a vaster perception, which is a clear, more clearer perception, because we are all the time wanting to be into the known, so that it is easier to manage the things. So he said, get into that direct perception where you are vulnerable all the time, where you are facing the unknown all the time, and that's the only process. So always he put us into the situation where something new we should be doing. So there will remain a freshness of life. We're doing something new wonderfully. That freshness of energy keeps you into the flow of life. Another thing is this known and unknown. So you are learning something which was not into the arena of known. It comes into the known, and you expand your spectrum, you expand your horizons, and get into that state. Great master, amazing base, and when you are coming into the contact with such masters, it's the life benediction that you are given the presence of such a master in your life. So you don't have to do anything, you simply lovingly serve him and listen to what he says and do it. And when you are doing it, don't think that you are obliging him by doing that what he has told. In fact, when he has asked you to do something, he is working on to you through that. So lovingly do it with by surrendering yourself and keeping aside that ego. When we start serving the master, lot of learning happens in the presence of the master. So today, on his 106th birthday, we all remember him lovingly, and we all send our love to him, which he knows that we all are in love with him, because he's one with the life, and life is flowing through all of us in that state. So today we thank him for giving such a, even though he has left his body, he has left wonderful knowledge in the form of those powerful words. When you're reading those books, we were translating, me and my friend, we were translating his book of Beyond the Unknown, Beyond the Mind in Marathi. So he said, when we were translating, the very first introduction says that as you are reading, and if you get into a state where you feel that even the book is becoming a hindrance, in that silent state, throw off that book out of the window. Because if that book itself, if you feel like, let me read the book, and you're coming back from that silent state to the state of words, he said, no, then that's not a book. If you feel, oh, I'm getting into that silent state, that's the purpose of that book. Keep aside the book, get into silent state, start observing your patterns. So these things he always used to teach us in every visit that we used to have with him. So let us not just read his books. The words are pointing towards something. Can we look at what the finger is pointing towards? We should not get attached to the finger. We should look at what the finger is pointing at. And if we start doing that, then we will start walking the path where masters are guiding us onto. So today, we celebrated his birthday. One request to all of you, that we have found one manuscript which is in Marathi, written by him, and a very completely different way of writing. The earlier books which you have seen and which have got published have a different style of writing. This is a Marathi Santa Vangmay kind of a book, but amazingly this process is described in that. So we all will pray that let that book come from where it can be published. And first the Marathi speaking people, which was his dream, he wanted to publish something originally in Marathi. So let us all energize this, that let that book come out. Nirvichara Se Duvari is the name of that book. Let it come out and get published as an offering to him for what we have received from him. So with a lot of love and gratitude in the heart now, we will do shantipat, because these are the masters who have given us, which is immensely beautiful, which is larger than life. That is what these masters have given us. And what they want us, when that has come to us, we should be becoming the embodiment of the same state. The flame has jumped. If that flame has jumped onto you, it is for showing the path and lightening up the lives around. So let us pray and with shantipat release that intention into the whole universe. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are that whole complete existence. We are not a partial being. Let us be led to that truth, eternal truth, which is residing within us. Let us be led to that pure light of awareness that we all are, and let us be led to that immortal which is pulsating in each one of us. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamamritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let all these compulsive patterns within be silenced fully and let them all dissolve so that our existence remains as an auspicious being on this planet Earth. And whatever happens through us arises from that state of auspiciousness. The words which come out, let them come out from the state of auspiciousness, a pure state of awareness. Whatever actions arise, let them arise from that state of awareness and auspiciousness. That's the way this whole globe will be embraced into a state of auspiciousness. Sarvato Bhadra is the state. The whole globe meets those vibrations. With this final shantipat, we radiate those vibrations around. Om Sarvesham Swastirбhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let this all auspiciousness prevail all the time for every one of us. Thank you.